is Dave Slater. I've just been to Lochore Meadows Country Park for Lochore Meadows parkrun, or the Meedies parkrun. It's the 12th of February 2022. This is one that I had intended to come and visit at some point, but like a lot of things, I guess, that was paid to by the pandemic. I didn't have a set date planned before then, but I'm really just now getting back into tourism. It's a lovely country park. There's ruins of an old castle. It's, I believe, constructed around a site that was reclaimed from the big Mary pit. Just as I come out of the entrance here, there is a pit wheel mounted on the entrance there. I don't really have time or space, unfortunately, to stop and take a picture of it. The weather today was 8 or 9 degrees and cloudy and fairly windy, so that was fine. I arrived just about between 10 and 9:15 and thought I had time for a warm-up, which I did, but the wee warm-up I did turned out to be ever so slightly longer than I expected. Came down to see the castle and back up to the visitor centre. It was okay. I wasn't late for the start of the run, but I kind of missed the first timers briefing. I had, however, looked up the course page, so I knew it was basically one loop of the loch, and had looked at it a bit more closely and saw that the start point was beyond the visitor centre, the finish point was just before the outdoor ed centre, and there was a little section which I thought was an out and back, turned out to be a tiny wee loop just away from the main path and back. I think obviously there are a lot of network of paths in this country park, and I assume it's somewhere that is particularly popular in the local area. So as I say, I'd done my warm-up, got back towards the visitor centre to see people making their way to the start line, managed to hear most of the pre-run briefing and knew that there weren't any issues with the course, which helped, and we got going. But as I say, I felt my legs a bit heavy because I'd done this warm-up. Maybe the warm-up was a little bit too fast, I'm not sure. Did about 10 minutes as well. Oh yeah, we're just passing the 5 cycle park, which I have a feeling I read is the site of a junior parkrun, or soon to start junior parkrun. I could be wrong about that. But I kept going, and I was quite pleased with keeping going. I was sort of probably quite far back in the pack, I guess. I don't know, I haven't had my result through yet. Occasionally I would pass someone, or someone would pass me. There are also other park users, dog walkers, other runners, some of whom I tried to greet and acknowledge when they were standing aside and that kind of thing, as many other people did too. Well done to all the marshals who have to make their way, some of them to the very far end, 2.5k away basically. So we got to that little bit that was, I thought, was the out and back, and I didn't really clock what had happened at what was basically an X junction, a crossing junction. But I didn't see anyone coming back towards me on the bit that was out, and that was because it wasn't an out and back, it was an out and then little loop round. But that was fine, and then you come back to the X junction and you head back towards the loch. And then they managed to put in a couple of hills, and I was assuming wrongly that going round a loch would be reasonably flat. It was reasonably flat, but there was a little rise, and then there was another bigger rise. At least by that time it felt bigger to my legs. But I was quite pleased that I managed to just about keep going in a sort of, I'll say, running gait. It wasn't particularly fast. It might just have been faster than walking pace, but I sort of did that thing that I tried to learn from somewhere about letting your arms dangle forward and looking down and just sort of concentrating on keeping one foot going in front of the other. And as I say, coming back to the last wee bit, it was quite breezy, but fortunately the breeze was behind you, so that felt like it was giving you a little encouragement. And then I put on a wee spurt to the finish and overtook two ladies who kind of went, oh, that was cheeky. They had, if I remember rightly, they had maybe passed me, I had passed them. I'm not sure if they did any walking or whether it was just I sometimes slowed down, sometimes managed to put on a bit of a spurt. But anyway, not my fastest park run. I think I didn't stop my watch and things until after I'd got my token at the far end of the funnel, but I think it was over 35 minutes, closer to 36, but it's okay. There's always a PB to be picked off if I come back in the future with a bit more weight shifted. Though arguably I shouldn't have had the roll and haggis and the cup of tea from the cafe, but it was a very nice cafe and a very nice roll and haggis, and the cup of tea is lovely as well. Spoke to a group of people as we were walking back to the visitor centre. There's a little bit of a walk from where the finish is, as I said, and because I'd noticed on the run there were people with this top on that said "Run Some," as in RUNSUM, but the S was actually a Greek sigma, and I'm like, oh, maths geek here. That's the sign for the sum from 0 to whatever of a variable. So when I saw the 6 of them walking back, I think it was 6, I said, oh, hello, loving the maths-based logo. Are you a running group? And their answer was, well, we're a group. But, you know, we're all runners, whatever pace we're at, so good to see them. I think that's about all the things that strike me on my visit here. I think one of my, I don't really have crossed the new bridge over the Forth very often, but I did cross it, and I will cross back again in a moment. And it was the sun's peeking through the sky now. It was a nice morning to be able to get there. Would have liked to stay perhaps a little bit longer, but I do need to get home. And that's me. That's my visit to Lochore Meadows, which is park run number 123 for me, but different venue number 42. Life, the universe, and everything. There we go. And I don't know if I'll have picked up any other running challenges or achievements today. I've already had plenty of L park runs. I think it was back when they first started. I got Planet Moor and Lochleven just up the road from here on consecutive weeks, which also got me numbers 2 and 3 for the Wilson Index, event 2 and event 3, because I think they both started the same Saturday. I didn't even look to see what event number Lochore had been, but we'll soon find out, and I'm delighted to have been there and done it, and still be well on my way. I should be home just after 11:30, so not too much of the day taken up, and then I can go and give some TLC to the family. Thanks for listening to my ramblings in the car. Dave Slater, A438007.